Cyclone Idai hit Mozambique, Malawi and Zimbabwe. Rescue teams are still racing to find and help survivors of the heavy floods. Chimanimani village in Zimbabwe was the hardest hit, with more casualties being reported. According to the UN World Food Programme, preliminary estimates of Cyclone Idai show an impact showing 200,000 people need urgent food assistance for 3 months in Zimbabwe. For more on the cyclone, we're now joined from our studios in Pretoria by Zimbabwe's High Commissioner to South Africa, David Hamadziripi. Your Excellency, thanks very much indeed for joining us. What can you tell us in terms of the situation on the ground as of today in Zimbabwe, particularly to the east and the south of the country?
Good afternoon. As you just said in a few minutes earlier, we are indeed receiving more information about the casualties of this west storm that has hit our region. We have 139 deaths that are being reported. Some 4,313 people have been displaced. 189 are missing, 144 injured, 136 marooned. But these figures are of course changing, perhaps even hour by hour, as some of the rescue teams are able to reach some of the areas that have so far been inaccessible. The level of destruction is extensive. Homes have been destroyed, public infrastructure, roads, bridges have been washed away. So yes, it is quite a disaster that we are facing.
So what's the biggest challenge that you're facing in trying to help those that are stranded, find those that are missing, and deal with this broken infrastructure? And is this assistance coming from various quarters?
The major challenge we have been facing has been access to some of the areas that have borne the brunt of this storm. Fortunately, we have been able now to access some of the worst hit areas, particularly around Chimanimani, but clearly there are also some other areas which have not been accessed. So the issue of access is very important. It is a major challenge, an immediate challenge, because unless we can access those areas, we are not able to help those who are in need. But what we are also encouraged by has been the mobilization, massive mobilization, both within Zimbabwe among ordinary citizens of the country, but also beyond the borders of Zimbabwe. Here in South Africa, we have compatriots, we have also South Africans who have been contacting our embassy, contacting the consulate with offers of donations and inquiries as to how they can donate. The Department of International Relations and Cooperation, we are aware, is also going to be making some announcements tomorrow about a fund that they are creating to mobilize humanitarian assistance. The United Nations has been mobilizing by bilateral donors, countries like the United Kingdom, United States, Tanzania, United Arab Emirates have also been mobilizing support to assist the survivors of Cyclone Idai.
All right, so the cyclone itself, the event was for a short period when we look at it, but the consequences are going to be for months and perhaps even years. From what you've seen already on the ground, what needs to be done to start rebuilding, if it's even possible at this stage?
I think at this stage the immediate focus is on really trying to provide, to save and rescue those who may still be marooned, who may still be caught up in this storm, in the waters, in the floods. But also, as we carry out these rescue and relief operations, we also are making assessments of the infrastructure that has been destroyed. As I mentioned, you have roads, you have bridges that have been washed away, you have schools that have been destroyed, you have homesteads, so you have families right now as we speak who are homeless, and they will need to return to their homes. The reconstruction effort is going to be immense, And of course, it will take a bit of a while to make a clear assessment of the extent of the infrastructure that has been destroyed and the work that needs to be done. But the government has already taken that position that in fact we need to be looking not just to the immediate needs, but we need to look also to the future. And the president, in his statement to the nation, in fact indicated that in our future national housing policy, we are going to be looking at structures that can withstand, or structures that will be more suited for the types of violent storms that we can anticipate in the future.
And what have you been able to do to assist those that are now homeless, literally, and have no food? And are your health facilities coping with the numbers of those injured and needing treatment?
In terms of those who need treatment, the Ministry of Health, also together with the medical fraternity in Zimbabwe, have been able to mobilize the resources that are available, but also the resources that have been made available by well-wishers to set up field camps and attend to those who have been injured and attend to those who need support. But clearly there is a need for additional support. And in fact, among the needs that we have, apart from food, we need safe water, because as you are aware, in this situation, it would be very easy for waterborne diseases to in fact emerge and bring in yet another disastrous dimension to an already difficult situation. We need medicines, medical personnel as well. We need shelter for those families who are now stranded, who don't have anywhere to go to. Presently, you have very temporary shelter that has been set up. You also have had some individual entrepreneurs who have offered their facilities as temporary shelter to some of the homeless people. We need blankets, we need clothes for all age groups, and we also need volunteers, because we are having a massive mobilization of support, but we'll need volunteers to also deliver these goods to where they are most needed.
And as the enormity of what's happened has started to come through and people understand, it seems as if Zimbabweans have really come together, both inside the country and the diaspora, to try and assist what's been happening in the country. Absolutely.
You know, it has been a tremendous, unprecedented coming together to assist. And I think what it has shown is that, in fact, that which we think divides us is not that important. If anything, that which binds us as one people is much more important. And it clearly shows also that the spirit of Ubuntu, the spirit of oneness, is still very much strong in the country. But we also must acknowledge the support of our friends in the region and beyond, because clearly the challenge and the task that is before us is not one which we will be able to deal with on our own. We will need that support. And as I indicated, we are very happy that here in South Africa, private citizens, entrepreneurs, private companies, but the government as well, mobilizing to support. And of course, this support is going to be long-term, as you indicated quite earlier on. It's not going to be just the palliative assistance that we need to deal with the current emergency, but we are going to need a much more massive effort to restore lives, to restore infrastructure, and to get Zimbabwe back again on the path of reconstruction and development that it has already embarked on.
High Commissioner, just before we close, perhaps people who do want to help, what's the best way to be able to effect that help?
People who wish to help can contact here in South Africa We have set up coordinating committees at our embassy here in Pretoria, in number 798 Merton Avenue in Arcadia. We have a coordinating committee which is receiving donations, receiving inquiries as to how you can donate. Similarly, at our consulate in Johannesburg, in Bedford View, and also at our consulate in Cape Town, we have established similar coordinating committees. But I'm aware that there are also Zimbabweans throughout the country who are also setting up similar structures. But for us as an embassy, those 3 locations in Cape Town, Johannesburg, and in Pretoria are receiving those donations. We will be sending out information in terms of where cash donations could be sent, but the donations we are receiving at our consulates and embassy are the donations in kind.
All right, High Commissioner Hamadziripi, we'll leave it there. Thank you very much indeed for your time, and we certainly hope that you continue to get the assistance from people, not just inside the country, but from all around the world to help those in need in Zimbabwe. Thanks so much indeed. Vanessa?